guys, it's me again with another Star Wars background. You know, since I didn't get to celebrate it yesterday because we're inside, I figured why not do it all week with my backgrounds? All right, so you guys, I am on the planet of Tatooine. All right. So today you would have read Frindle Chapter 5 and you saw what Nick did with his report. And you saw his emotions. If you looked at the character's point of view, his emotions changed quite a bit from the beginning to the end of our chapter. So it was very interesting also how he tried to plan another time waster, but it didn't really work out. Once again, this teacher really did outsmart him again. So let's get started. Let me change my background to our lovely virtual classroom. Here we go. There you go. And we have our goals and we have our text structure. Yes, we're working on comparing and contrasting this week. Remember, any of our text structures you can use to help you understand the text. So let's get started. I will give you what we are doing today. Here we go, and it is this one. All right, so the first things first, Miss Granger loves words, and this word maximum is on page 22 in our chapter. So I was thinking, okay, the word maximum means like the highest or the largest limit. So remember, I told you use your context clues first before you go and you check it in the dictionary. So write down what you think first and then go check it in the dictionary. So I'm going, let me get my lovely handy dandy typing. There we go. And I feel like changing the color to, let's do it a blue today. All right, so I put down the largest limit. That's what I think it is. I'm actually gonna have it really zoomed in today. There we go. Oh, wait, let me get my, there we go. Let's move. Wait, hold on. Clear drawings. There we go. So right here, I'm going to put the largest limit. All right, that's what I put. So it's the largest amount you can have. And guess what? That's actually what Google said too. Google said that it is the highest. So a maximum is the highest you can go. So like the maximum weight for like a car, you know, or the maximum weight. You might see this when you're in an elevator, the maximum limit, the weight for an elevator can be only so many people because they can't go over the weight or else it won't lift up or won't be safe. So definitely look for those when you're in some type of vehicle or transportation, or the maximum amount of people in a room, or like right now there's a maximum amount of people allowed in restaurants because they just opened up restaurants Monday, but they only can be up to a maximum of 25% of their normal capacity. So there you go, maximum. All right, so let's go ahead. I'm going to clear those off and scroll down to our capitalization and punctuation. And for this one, I am going to zoom in a little bit to use my pen. And here we go, my handy dandy pen. So William Shakespeare was a famous author. Yes, he was. He was a famous author in England. And William needs to be capitalized because it's the beginning of a word, sentence, but not only if it says it's the beginning of a sentence, it is also a proper noun, a specific name of a person. All right, so his last name has to be capitalized because it is a proper noun. Was a famous author, period. That is a statement, so it just gets a period at the end. And that looks like a comma, but it's actually a period. There you go. All right, next. What was Nick's best time waster ever? Because you know he loves to waste time in class, so he doesn't get assignments or have to do work. So this is a question. So you're going to put a question mark at the end, capital letter at the beginning of every sentence, and the word Nick needs to be capitalized because it is a proper noun. All right, these were very simple. Again, we're just going over those punctuation and capitalization so you have them down and ready for 4th grade. All right, so I'm going to clear this off and we're going to go to the next section. I'm going to zoom out so we can see this next section. All right, here we go. There we go. All right, read the sentence. So this is figurative language and idiom. And remember, we've gone over idioms. You've taken tests on them multiple times in class and one outside of class. So idioms are sayings that you don't really mean. Like it means something else. They are non-literal. So if you take them literal, then, you know, I don't know why we would take them literal because some of these things are crazy things, just like this one. So you know you might not be all there, because I know you guys don't take these literal. Like the eyes of everyone would be glued to his face. You guys know that you don't take your eyeball out of your eye and glue it to someone else's face. You guys know that, so I know you would not take that literal. All right, so read the sentence from the text. The eyes of everyone would be glued to his face. Like again, I said, everyone in our classroom is smart and does not believe that it takes that literal. No one would take that actual literal. That is a non-literal. So what do they mean if you take everyone's eyes are glued to his face? So what does it mean? The students would detach their eyes and attach it to Nick's face. That's a literal, and you know that does not mean. So I know no one would have picked letter A. B, all students had glued plastic googly eyes to Nick's face as a prank. Now that is more realistic, but again, that is not literally what it means. They didn't say anything about googly eyes, and they would not do that as a prank. That wasn't in the book at all. So you know that is not the case there. C, all students would stick squishy toy eyeballs to his forehead. Again, they didn't say anything about squishy toy eyeballs, doing a prank. No, he was actually saying that everyone would have their eyes glued to him. That it was actually on the first page of this chapter. And it was D, all students would pay attention to him as he gave his class report. Just like I tell you to face forward, have your eyes facing the person that's talking. You need to have those movie manners when they present. I've told you this before. Make sure you have your eyes facing them. That's what it means, to have your eyes glued to someone. It basically means you're looking at them, you're paying attention. So the answer should have been, and I know all of you guys probably got this one right, D, okay? Because you guys know the difference between non-literal and literal. You guys are very smart. What mood or feeling is conveyed through this idiom? The eyes of everyone would be glued to his face. So to be able to know the mood, you can't just read that one sentence. You actually have to go back, and it was on the first page. And you guys need to make sure you guys are going back to answer these questions, just like you do in your tests too. You need to be always going back. You can't just remember everything. And I've seen a lot of people trying to just read it one time and not actually take the time to go back on their test on the computer. You need to go back and look in the text. I'm not going to say that enough. No matter what you do, whether if you're in classroom with a piece of paper or in a book, or whether you're on the computer reading it, you need to go back in the text and look. You're not going to remember it. All right, so I went and I found that one, and like I said, it was the first paragraph on the first page of this chapter, and it said, 7th period was coming. He was going to have to stand up in front of Mrs. Granger's class. The eyes of everyone in the class would be glued on his face, and Mrs. Granger would be cranked up to maximum punch power. I mean, she would have the power, and she would be watching him. So this sentence shows that he's nervous. He's getting nervous that he's going to have to give that report, that assignment, that extra homework he had. So it is B. He wasn't excited. He wasn't gloomy. He wasn't frightened. So you need to go back and look to know the mood, how he's feeling, that character's point of view. All right. So again, they're going to ask us another character's point of view. How did Nick feel about his report planned throughout this chapter? So again, this is sequencing. And not only are you sequencing the text, you are also sequencing the text, just the points of view of the character. So at the beginning of our story, and I wrote down, I even gave the pages to go back and look. So at the beginning of the story, before he gave his report, he was nervous, as you see in question 4. He was nervous. So I put down nervous or anxious. I use the word anxious, which sort of means the same thing. It's just like you're scared, you're nervous, you're like, it's like you're getting those butterflies in your stomach. And this is shown on page 22. So I went back and on the first paragraph, it shows that he's getting nervous, he's getting anxious. Now, while he was giving his report to the class, he was starting to get pretty confident. Because why? Miss Granger wasn't doing that power trip that he said at the beginning, or that punch, the power punch, he said. Miss Granger was actually smiling. She was happy he gave his report and did his assignment. So, and I wrote down that on page 25 through 26, it shows the report went smoothly for 12 minutes. Nick was surprised at how easy it was to stand there and talk about this stuff. So he was actually pretty confident. So I put down his point of view, his characteristic. At this point, when he was giving his report, during the report, he was getting confident because his teacher made him feel confident. She was smiling at him. She was asking questions. She was giving comments, like I tell you guys to do in class, questions and comments, right? So this is on page 25 through 26. While he's giving his report, he felt confident. He felt calm. Now, after his report, his teacher, Miss Granger, realized, okay, this is going on too long, and caught on to what he was doing. Caught on that he took up the whole class time except for the last 10 minutes of class. So she was like, okay, so I'm going to stop you right here. And on page 29, the last page, or actually the second to the last page, no, actually, not the last page, but on page 29, she stops him. And she goes, Miss Granger was beaming at him. Nick sank lower in his chair. This was worse than writing the report, worse than standing up to give it. He was being treated like the teacher's pet. His reputation was in great danger. So once again, he was embarrassed afterwards because she's like, you know what? You gave a really long report. So you did such a good job. I'm so proud of you. Awesome. So she was making him look like a teacher's pet and giving him a lot of praise for what he did, like over an abundance of praise, and exaggerating it because he gave such a long report. You know, you deserve the credit for such a long report because the teacher's smart, just like me. We know when you're playing around with what you're trying to do. So he started to feel embarrassed because he got caught. So, and she started treating him like a teacher's pet. Oops, and there I spelled that totally wrong. You know, Miss Bruce is so wrong with spelling. Embarrassed. And again, what I just read was on page 29. So make sure you go back. You need to go back and look. Even though these are small chapters and very simple text, well, not very simple. There's a lot of big words in there. You still need to go back and double check and look, because to get a good answer, you're not going to remember it all. And it can't be simple, because I've been getting a lot of simple answers. You need to go back and give me those more higher thinking answers, okay? So if you just put he was sad, that's not third grade material going into fourth grade. Embarrassed, confident, anxious, those are good words, and you need to make sure you go back and you look. And if you don't remember those higher vocabulary words of those feelings, those characteristics, remember I put the list on not Power Schools, on Edmodo. So go back and look at that list. The one that we have in our notes in class, I put it right up there for you guys to use. And if you need it again, just send me a message and I'll send it out to you again if you didn't say that. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and clear this off. There we go, it's all cleared. And let's go down to 6. What was Nick's plan for delivering his report? Well, on page 28, which, because I always go back and look, on page 28, we know what his plan was. He loves to waste time. He's been doing this for a while, since 3rd grade. We know where he wasted time with the tropical island in his classroom. So what was his plan for the report? When he read it, he's like, you know what, this is going to take forever. I'm going to waste the class time so she can't teach and give us more homework. So what was his plan? I mean, he even said it on page 28. His plan in the complete sentence was to waste the class time. So let me make this bigger. So he would not have to do a lesson in or get a homework assignment that day. All right. Kyle, I had to pause it. Can you shut the door, please? Because I can hear everything you're doing. Sorry about that, you guys. All right, my husband was in the other room. I could hear everything. I didn't want to interrupt it. All right, so let's go on. Identify 2 details from the text to support your answer in this item. All right, so again, I told you he was trying to waste his time. So now we have to go back and we have to go back and look in the text. So he was trying to waste the time. How do I know he was trying to waste the time? I have to find two details in the text that support my answer. This is what I tell you guys to do when I tell you guys to go back and look in the text. You're actually now supporting your answer. So this is what I want you to do when you answer those open questions at the end of your test. You answer the question. So like in 6 is where's my, hello, there it is. All right, so this right here would be the question, okay? Number 6 would be the question. Now, when I tell you to support your answer with details from the text, I always tell you to use both passages in our test. This is what I mean here. We're going to use both passages, one here and one here. You use details from the text. So in this case, I'm telling you to find 2 ways that shows that he's trying to waste time. Well, on page 28, it specifically says, and I'll put it down here, on page 28, hold on, let me make this a little bigger. All right, on page 28, says, here's my first detail. It says that it was one of the greatest time wasters he had ever invented. It literally says that. So that's my first detail. It was one of the greatest time wasters he had ever invented. All right, and that was on page 28. Now my next one, I'm going to put right here. It says also on page 28, it's something that Mrs. Granger says to the class, okay? And so I'm going to put also on page 28. Mrs. Ranger says, although, make this bigger, there we go. Although your report was a little long, All right, so there, both of those are details that support my answer that shows he was trying to waste time. One, it said that it was the greatest time waster he ever invented. The other one shows that Miss Granger also thought it waste time because she said, although it was a little long, she caught on to what he was doing. So both of these are details that support my answer in number 6. So make sure you're doing the same thing when you're answering those open-ended questions on your test, because you're going to have one this week. Then you need to make sure you're using at least 2 details to support your answer from both passages. So a detail from one passage and a detail from the other passage, not just answering the question. To answer the question, then show me 2 details from both passages. So a detail from one passage and a detail from another passage. All right, so there you go. And that is called supporting your answer with text evidence. All right, number 8, what happened as a result of Nick's lengthy report? Select all that apply. Well, what happened was, and this one's just directly from the text, and I'm going to circle it for you guys. What happened was Miss Granger did have to stop him because it was getting so long that she's like, okay, that's enough right there. And she actually tried to stop him twice. And this first time didn't work because the kids wanted to hear the rest of his report. The second time, she's like, I think that's enough for today. And she stopped him. Miss Granger was unable to teach at all. Nope. She stopped him and had just enough time to teach for 8 minutes and rushed it all through. So poor kids, they had to like work really, really fast, and hopefully they got it. See, Miss Granger taught her lesson in a short amount of time. Yep, that is exactly what happened. See, so it's A, C, let's see. D, Miss Granger was really nice to Nick. Yes, Miss Granger was really nice to Nick, especially during his report. She was very nice. She didn't yell at him. She didn't get on to him. Didn't say, hey, your lesson was too long or your report was too long. She was super nice about him, but she still out-tricked him, even by being nice. And Miss Granger didn't have time to assign homework. Nope. She still assigned homework and she still taught a mini lesson. How does Nick regard being treated as a teacher's pet? Provide textual evidence, so text evidence to support your answer. Again, answer the question and then provide evidence. Make sure you go back and you look for evidence. So on page 29, this is where he says his reputation was in great danger because she was treating him like a teacher's pet. So I'm going to put down, it's the second paragraph on page 29. So this is what I wrote down. And you should be in a complete sentence too. It shouldn't just be like, he didn't like it. Remember, if he didn't like it, you need to show me how do you know he didn't like it. Give me that text evidence. So this is what I wrote. Let me do this and make this big. Nick does not like it. So I put that down. I didn't say Nick doesn't like it. I also added my text evidence because it says, so I'm going to quote now the text from page 29. It says, that was the worst, or that was worse than writing the report. And it continues to say, so there's some words in between there, and then it continues to say, his reputation was in great danger. Let's see if I can keep this open. There we go. So, his reputation was in great danger. There you go. So I know that's a little small, but you should be able to see that and at least hear me when what I'm saying, if you can't see it. All right, last question. Again, it's another open-ended question, but this one is an opinion. And even though it's an opinion, you still need to support your answer with text evidence. All right, so I'm going to clear this one off and go to that last question. All right, and I'm going to zoom in bigger, so hopefully that helps with the text, being able to see it a little bit so it's not so small. All right, so in your opinion, who won the battle? So you can say Nick or Mrs. Granger, you're not right or wrong, but it says use text to support your answer once again. So who won the battle? I think Mrs. Granger won this battle because, now I'm going to support my answer, because she taught her lesson in 8 minutes. Now, this is exactly from the text. In 8 minutes, she taught her lesson. Poor kids. Those kids had to really rush through all the lessons. And the one thing that I found that was really cool that I used a text connection to, you guys, is that I even underlined it in my book because this book belongs to me, so I can underline it. It says, Mrs. Granger jammed the whole day's work until the last 8 minutes. A blur, so you can tell that it was blurry. A blur, verbs and nouns and prepositions, and yes, there was another homework assignment. So she was able to cram it all in, and the best part is the verbs, the nouns, and the prepositions. We've done that in class. That is my text connection there. We've done verbs, we've done nouns, we've done prepositions. So I thought that was really cool that it's something that we've done in class before. Now we haven't learned it in 8 minutes, but they're learning the same things that we have done in class. All right, so Mrs. Granger won this battle because she still taught her lesson in 8 minutes and was able to give homework. Now, again, this looks like it's so small that I should have a whole bunch of room, but you guys, I wrote it down here, the exact same thing down here, and as you can see, I took up most of the writing there, most of the lines there. And the only reason it looks so small on here is because I'm typing it out and it's so zoomed in. All right, but you should have that really only needed one complete sentence as long as you had the text evidence. And I had the text evidence because it says 8 minutes and she was able to give homework, so that supports why I think Miss Granger won this battle and how Nick really tried to last the whole entire time so they didn't have to learn anything or get a homework assignment. But she caught on to it and stopped him and was able to do it in the last 8 minutes. All right, you guys, so that was an interesting chapter. We'll see what happens from here. See what Nick comes up with now to try to get Miss Granger to waste her time in class so she doesn't teach all year long. Let's figure out in the next chapter tomorrow that you're going to read chapter 6. So before you guys go, though, here is another clue to what I will be teaching you on Friday. Something fun, not school related. Well, it's fun. It's educational. You probably would like to know how to do this, but something fun, not necessarily with reading. All right, here we go. Here's the clue. Picture of a fridge. What am I going to be teaching you guys? All right, well, I'll see you guys and girls tomorrow. Bye.